let's just say I am in the medical field. I am going to be doing 2 different events. And just what would you recommend for these 2 different events?
I'm guessing for this event, you're trying to mingle with them so they refer clients to you. You have the cheaper stuff, but you do still have some high-end stuff like maybe that you had left over from the one with the doctors.
Yeah.
Keep that to the side. When you have a good engaging conversation with someone that you see the potential of them being a client, like, hey, I got you something here, pull it out and give it to them so it's an extra thing.
Hey everybody, welcome to FIP Printing Pros podcast. I am Chris Lockwood, one of your hosts with the other host, Josh Dynison over here. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about how to utilize promotional items and branding in your business. Now we've covered this topic a little bit before, but we want to get really specific on when you're planning something, when you're going to be using promotional items, when you're going to be using print items. How do I budget properly? How do I get the right, I guess you could say, caliber of item based on who my target audience is? So that's what we're going to dive into a little bit today. Give everybody some things to think about when they get ready to order, when they get ready to do an event. So, let's jump into it. If you're going to advise me, like I'm going to be doing an event, what are some of the questions that you would ask me so you can advise me on the kind of promotional items or print items to get?
Well, first off, I would say, do you have a budget? And what does that budget look like? That's kind of the first starter. Then I would want to know what's the theme that you're trying, like for the event, if there's a theme behind it, or if you're just doing it for your company, not necessarily a theme. Because sometimes if they say Memorial Day is coming up, is it a Memorial Day event? So do you want like patriotic things? So understanding what you're looking for, the budget, also what approximate quantity you're looking for, all those things is what I would be asking, just to understand that. So now I know what items to look for you, because, and again, this is where now I would change and also understand, what are you looking for? Is this the type of event that you're just going to put something out there and people are everybody's going to grab? They may not be a future customer. They're just going to come look for the free things, or is this going to be more very like niched out, like these are people looking for the type of business you do type of thing. So I think for like us, like we have a wholesale company, that we do Patriot Line. And when I go to those trade shows as Patriot Line, my target company are actual other retail companies like First Impressions.
Print companies,
yeah, or promo companies, whatever, yeah. And they're coming to me to do all their printing and signage and things like that. So I'm at a trade show where I know that it's not just Joe Schmo coming by and going to grab stuff off my table. It's somebody that is a very good high potential of being my client. So I want to put stuff out there that I know is going to get a lot of touch points. Like it's not just going to be a one use and done type of thing. It's going to be something that's going to stick around them for a while. Different things like that. But again, if it's at one of the shows where the general public is coming there, and there's going to be those people that might just be looking for the free things at your booth and not who they're specifically going to work with. Maybe you got to keep in mind to either keep cheaper items out for them for that, or you somehow like have a withhold that not just laid out for them to come grab.
Yeah.
And they have to maybe fill a sign up sheet type of thing, whatever it is. So then you're knocking 2 things out. You're getting their data, their information that they're writing down for you. And then also at least you got a data point. Now you can give them something. And
yeah.
That
reminds me. So when I was in recruiting for the Army, we would go into high schools and we would do table setups during lunchtime and stuff like that. And I remember like the first time I did it, I had this nice layout. I'm waiting for the kids to come out. So I had like all my pencils and pens and pamphlets laid out. And it was like a bunch of locusts just came through in like one big swipe. And then my table was empty. I was like, that was everything I had for the next 2 hours I'm going to be here,
Yeah.
and it's all gone.
Yep.
And so that taught me that lesson of, first of all, don't put everything out there. And then second of all, don't put the good stuff out there unless someone, like you said, is
Yep.
agreeing to have an appointment or whatever the case may be. So, okay, so let's do a little scenario. Let's just say I am in the medical field. That's one of our big fields around here, and I am going to be doing 2 different events. And just what would you recommend for these 2 different events? So the first event is nothing but doctors, administrators of, say, assisted living facilities or hospitals. Like, these are like, I don't want to use the word important people, but they're my ideal client. These are the people I want to be working with. So that's one event. I'm going to have
And I'm guessing for this event, you're trying to mingle with them so they refer clients to you.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to have my own table set up. I'm also providing lunch to them. Like, I'm one of the sponsors, so I'm providing lunch on one of the days. It's kind of like a 3-day event, but I really want to be able to impress them. Now, that's the event I got this weekend. Next weekend, I'm sponsoring a golf tournament, and it's open to the public. We're raising money for, cancer awareness, right? So I've got the doctors symposium, because they don't call them conferences, they call them symposiums. Then I got a golf tournament that's open to the public. We're raising, money for cancer. What should I bring to the doctors and then what should I bring to, and my budget's the same. I have a budget of, let's just say, $2,500 for each.
So I would say for the doctors and those type of people in that one, you probably would want more of a higher end gift to give them, because you know that there's a high potential that they're going to be a client of yours, first of all. And then second of all, when you do get them, if it's from like a referral basis, like you're talking about, it's going to be multiple coming to you possibly if you get them. So you obviously want to keep them engaged. So we've actually done this for a client of ours that is within the healthcare business, and actually similar thing like you're mentioning with meeting with doctors at a trade show. And we ended up doing a really nice whiskey glass, and then umbrellas, and what was the other thing? You could always do, there's different things like that you could do. You could even do, like, if you really want to go high end, you could do like one of the portable chargers. You can do portable chargers for your phone. It's magnetized, or the ones that just, it's got the power bank where just plug it in and charge it, different things like that. More of your higher end type stuff, that electronic, different things like that.
Yeah.
That would be something that they can use over and over again. And then as far as the other one, you probably want to keep your budget a little lower. And as far as per piece, you could get more of them. If your budget's $2,500. But you have to factor in, you're probably going to get a lot of people that maybe aren't going to be clients there. So you don't want to give out $5 to $10 items to everybody. And then they just go quick. And then at the end, you got people that are actually going to be your customer, and then you got nothing to give them. So this is also what I would even mention for that one particular. You have the cheaper stuff, but you do still have some high end stuff that, like, maybe that you had left over from the one with the doctors.
Yeah.
Keep that to the side. When you have a good engaging conversation with someone that you see the potential of them being a client, like, hey, I got you something here, pull it out and give it to them, so it's an extra thing. Get the freebies out there that are cheap, but also keep you top of mind of people that if maybe they'll refer you, or maybe they'll be a future client at some point. But for that, I would say, like, you could always do like your alligator chip clips or things like that that magnetize. You put them on the fridge. I use them constantly.
I would say I got a few FIP ones on my fridge right now.
Honestly, those are my most used, like, constant in my face, even though it's my brand. but I'm just saying, like, even if it was like not my brand, if it was somebody else's before I owned this company, I had those on my fridge all the time. Between putting it on the cereal bag, the chip bag, or just clipping things on there for like save the dates, graduations, whatever the case may be, or important mail that you need to follow up on. Like I have that all clipped on the side of the refrigerator. That's what we do at our house anyways.
Yeah.
Things like that. Pens are always a thing. Now again, for your doctors, maybe more higher end pens, rather than your just more on the cheaper side pens. They like the really, the good quality metal pens and
Yeah, that
things
way
like
when
that.
you can't read the writing, at least it looks smooth.
Yeah. Or they they don't want a cheapy pen. They want a
You click it twice and then it gets stuck and it doesn't work. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty much what I would say is how I would handle that situation. Again, it would depend on the theme. I would need to know more information to really dive into it. Even with like the healthcare industry, what I've done for hospitals and things like that before, physical therapy companies, ice packs with the logo brand on there. And again, people keep those in their fridges or freezers all the time. And, when they have something come up, they pull that thing out.
I didn't even know you could get those like that.
Yeah. I've done that for
so smart.
Yeah. I've done that for a couple different, one for a physical therapy company and another for like a hospital. Those go over really well.
The stress, the exercise,
you got stress
balls, exercise balls.
Yep, for PT. That's another one that they do that a lot too. Is the stress balls, and you can even get those in different like shapes. So if it's like, say if it's a blood drive or something like that, you can get a heart. Well, I'm not saying that it has to be heart, but like there's different things. There's heart shaped ones. There's for realtors, you got houses, there's so many different things on that side that you could have different shapes. Sport, if you're going to school and it's maybe football, you got footballs, basketball, soccer, golf. Like
we used to do the basketballs. I remember those. Yeah.
Yep. So there's in the stress ball field, there's like every different type of industry that could be have something related to them on the stress ball side that you could get. To hand out as well. So,
something because I've been to a lot of different conferences, never been to a symposium. Been to a lot of different conferences and where they have the booths and that kind of stuff set up. And shout out to Elite Construction. That's the hat I got on today. They gave me one on Friday. But she had these little desks. And I would almost describe them as like a little frisbee, like one of them little flat frisbees, but it was a fan.
Yeah.
And, usually you see the little paper ones on the little stick, and it's, and that's another good one. I mean, they can't be that expensive. You can order thousands of them for hardly nothing. But that one, the reason I think that one stuck out to me is because it's going to be one that you're not just going to use it once and then throw away because it tears up or whatever. You're going to take it home to your kid.
Yeah.
And so, those kind of things I think are also important to look at different things that other people don't have. Mm-hmm. If you're going to an area where it's going to be hot, get a fan, but get one that has a different use to it. Or look and see what the different options are instead of just the little stick. Yeah, it might cost you a few cents more per each item, but you're going to stand out. So,
speaking of fans, I just did an order for a company that's the electronic fans, rechargeable ones.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so you got 3 different speeds, and here in Florida, that's a big thing. But you literally, after you're done using it, then you go plug it on the charger back up. Next day, you got it. And that's a big thing, especially for like if you have to be outdoors or anything like that.
Those are amazing if you're on the beach or you're at Disney or something like that. Those are, ask me how I know.
Or come August, go Gators, at a football game. We actually, we have season tickets to go to Gator football, and all of us got the neck fans that like go there and then you aim them at your face.
I want to get one of those. Those, do they work? Are they good?
Oh yeah. It's in the middle of the heat. It still is still hot, but it definitely helps for sure. And honestly, by the time the 3-hour game's over, it's almost totally dead. So I usually kind of wait as long as I can to turn it on.
Yeah.
Because it always unless it's a night game. Thankfully, a lot of times it's night games during the middle of the summer. They try to at the
not
beginning.
as bad, yeah.
Yeah, but if they happen to have to schedule early in the day, beginning of the season, it's always going to be super hot. So I get those fans.
Yeah,
And
that reminds me, my Longhorns are coming to play in Florida next year, so we might have to talk about some of them tickets.
Yeah, well, good luck. Good luck getting those.
Yeah, because Arch Manning's going to be there, so it's going to be sold out. Okay, so we talked a little bit about promotional and stuff like that. I think there's something that's most businesses have, most employees are going to have, and that's business cards. So, what does a business card say about the person and about the business?
I think business cards could be just a general business card. It doesn't have to be special. However, like if for instance, I can't remember. I'm trying to honestly. This gives you an idea of why it's obvious that because I don't remember who it is. But it was like they handed me the card and it was like ripped and bent and like they just handed them out, not even like carrying. Like it was and. It kind of immediately, I know what it was. We were looking at houses and it was one of the realtors.
Oh, good Lord.
And they handed me their business card, and me and our realtor were like, geez, do they even care? Like this thing is trash.
They're like, I need that one back. That's the only one I got.
Yeah. So,
Take a picture.
So that's one thing is obviously you want to hand one that's actually nice, which for me, what I do to even keep it nice is I keep them in a little a pocket thing in my pocket. So like they stay in good condition and I just pull out if somebody needs one. Cause if you just have them sitting in your pocket, it's just going to bend and do everything. But also then if you got the special touches like I do, it does make you stand out even more so because instead of just getting a regular business card, like it's a soft touch, which it feels like a velvet. So, and then it's got a raised UV on there too. So like as soon as somebody gets it almost all the time, I'm like, oh, wow, this is nice. So now it's like an additional, like a remembrance. Cause now your sensories as a remembrance too. It's not just our conversation remembrance. It's also, that feel I had when I touched that card type of thing.
Yeah. I didn't realize there were so many different styles and things you can do to business cards and until I started working for FIP. And so there was one that stands out to me more than I think any others that I've seen. And I didn't pay attention to it. Like it wasn't one of those where I like, someone's giving me a business card. So it was, I happened to pick it up and it was for a chiropractor's office here in town. And this is just me personally because most people are right-handed. If you ever do anything like what I'm going to describe, do it on the right side because most people are going to grab it with their right hand. But along the right-hand side of the card was a backbone, the spine.
Yep.
And it was raised. So you could feel, as you ran your thumb down, you could feel the spine. And it was on pretty decent, what we call stock. It was a pretty thick card, but it was kind of like a standard business card other than that. It was like the off-white or ivory color and, nothing else was really special about it other than that.
Yeah.
And that really stood out. I have some FIP cards that are plastic, so they're like super durable. You can get, I've seen business cards that, we have one, I think it's Signature brand at the top of the card is cut into a heart.
Yep.
It's part of their logo. I've seen the soft touch. I love the soft touch because it just feels cool in your hand. Now, what would you, so if again, we'll go back to this scenario. I'm with doctors, I'm with the general public. It's not always cost effective, but would you even have different business cards for different event type things?
I mean, honestly, in the grand scheme of things, even on the more expensive business cards, it's really not like overall, like if you think about like per card, it's not like an extreme expense. Now, if you're talking like, okay, I can get 250 regular cards for $45-$50, compared to 125, 150 bucks or whatever the difference is, somewhere in that range to get a nicer one. That sounds like a big difference, $100, but when you break it down per card, I mean, really, you're still getting 250 at 150. You're still less than $1. So, I mean, it really depends on that side of things, like how serious you take that and how budget friendly you have to be too. Like, are you that tight with your budget? Then yeah, maybe you shouldn't have the higher end ones to give out to just everybody. And if you really wanted to do them separately, you could. I would just say you just stick with one and whatever that is. If it's a nicer one or it's not, the regular ones, that's up to you. But again, like I said, when it comes to those different special ones, like it gives you, I guess, a different, like, people, I guess, take it a little more serious or like ooh.
Well, like you said, you stand out.
Yeah, stand out a little bit more.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the electronic business cards? Or I've seen them like what's it called? Like where you tap.
Yeah. So with that, I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily, but always having a business card to go with it is always, in my opinion, a good idea because you and I have had the same problem. We go to a trade show, we have a booth set up, people come talk to us, they tap their thing. One, sometimes it doesn't work. Yep. And then two, what has happened is afterwards we leave that and we're like, I want to follow up with these people, but now I don't remember what their name is.
Now I've got 300 other contacts on my phone.
And I've got 1,000 contacts on my phone because I've had my number and I've transferred all my contacts since I was 15 years old. Yeah. So, I've got 22 years of contacts in there, and with me being involved in business a lot of that time frame, and even as a police officer and things like that, like I've made a lot of contacts over time where I just had them in my phone. And so having that business card, if I would have had that, I could have gone back through that from that event and be like, I don't remember their name. That was them.
Yep.
Yeah. But like off the top of my head, like I can't remember that person's name. Like, and especially if I'm talking to multiple people throughout that trade show, like I'm not going to remember one specific name.
Yeah. And I think what also goes with that is the use of the business card. Sometimes I like to make notes on the back.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm at a trade show or I'm at a convention or something like that. When I'm talking to someone, when they hand me their card, I'll make a note on the back so I don't forget, whatever it is. So I think just when you're ordering business cards, just keep that in mind. If it's something that might be a use case scenario. I've seen a lot of doctors' offices that have appointment reminders on the back of their business cards.
Yeah.
So that's what they'll write as an appointment reminder is right on the back of business cards. So now you know when your appointment is, and you got the doctor's business card. So
yeah. And one thing that you and I talked about for next time, if somebody does the little tap thing and instead we never got a business card, is as soon as you get the information on your phone, screenshot the information. Yeah. So at least it's in your pictures so that when you need to go back refer, you can go back to and find it in there. And so then you at least have that. That was something we talked about afterwards as just so we know and can follow up with them.
One more thing I think I want to hit real quick before we end this one is logos. How important is the logo when it comes to the promotional items and the business cards, all those things we're talking about right now? I think some people get too bent out of shape about having the perfect logo when they're creating a company or things like that. Which, don't get me wrong, you don't want it to look like just a bunch of things thrown together type of thing. You want it to look at least decent. But I think what's important about your logo is being consistent with it. Which sometimes in promo, even apparel, people will go like ours is a full color logo, which it can be more expensive to do a full color logo on apparel or a promo item. And some promo items don't even give you full color options. It's just a one color option. So you always have to kind of think about that too. But at least as long as it's pretty consistent, like we do have a one color logo, how we do this. And we just kind of change out where this paint splash is just all one color. And then this is just in like an outline within that, type of thing. Well, even on the hats, like I was just looking at it, like we have the splatter here, but on the hats, it doesn't have the splatter. So
you can't do that with embroidery.
Yeah, it's just a different variation. Yeah.
Yeah, so just at least as long as you're being pretty consistent with that. So that's something to keep in mind when you do create a logo. Is you want to always have some different variations like put together, so that when you do come to a company like us, it's really easy. Because even a lot of times people don't have vector logos and things like that, which is a line art instead of pixelations, which is a JPEG typically, as people know it.
Basically, what that means, so everybody understands, vectored image means it can be really small and look the same, or it can be really big and look the same. It doesn't distort.
Yep. And when you're doing pixelations, it looks good small, but then when you expand it, then it gets blurry and distorted. Yep. So having somebody create a good vector art for your logo and everything like that to hand off to a company like this, that's going to be the best way to get the best quality print for you. But that's kind of the biggest thing is with logos is just being consistent and keeping your brand very consistent. Because sometimes people will be like, oh, on this I'll do this logo, and this I'll do that logo, and this, and then you need it all to communicate and because you want people to recognize your logo, and on whenever the case, whatever it is that you're trying to build, so that if they need to use your services, you come to mind for different reasons, and not just be like, oh, I think I had 3 different companies. I got this piece with this logo, this piece, So it's a consistency thing. But one other thing that kind of ties in with this too, and kind of logos and everything, and going to events and whatnot, is we get a lot of people that sometimes will come to us last minute, which is pretty common. People are busy, and a lot of times they don't have dedicated people for events. It's like somebody's extra duty at their company. So sometimes they come to us last minute. With that, sometimes they don't have a plan put in place on how they're going to want something laid out, designed, or anything like that. And so it isn't. Then they are frustrated because maybe what they just put together didn't get the result they wanted, and get them a return or on what they're looking for in any kind of way, if they're sending out postcards or whatever the case may be. But if you put the right design elements, the right verbiage on the flyer or brochure or whatever it is you're putting out there, you got to make sure you're putting all that together properly, that it's relaying the right message you want to then get the people engaged in the right way. Even like promo items, you're picking the right items that fit with the clientele you're trying to target, all the things. And I think that's where people, a lot of times they get frustrated because they spend the money on the thing and then it doesn't get them the return they want. But you have to be cognizant that you're utilizing your budget properly, putting the right stuff out there to the right people, that you actually get the return that you're wanting to get out of it.
Well, and the important thing you just said there too is giving enough time for the process to work.
Yes.
So someone comes to us, is like, hey, I need a banner for an event. I don't have, this is what I need on it, but I don't know how I want it arranged. So our graphic designer will put together a proof, right? And then that proof gets sent out to say, yes, no, make this adjustment, whatever. So, and then it comes back. But once it's approved, now it goes into production. So I think it's important for people to realize that that kind of stuff takes time. Yeah. Because what's that old saying? Your emergency is not my emergency, or something like that. But you have to give it time. Now it doesn't take weeks and weeks and weeks normally to do this kind of stuff. Yeah. But don't call me at 9:00 in the morning and say I need this by noon, because I got 7 other people that called me yesterday that are already in line. That unless you're going to pay like a ridiculous amount of money, you're going to have to wait. So make sure you plan properly for it. With that being said, this is something I was always curious about. So the promotional items, right? Where do they come from? Who makes those? Do we print them in the shop? Where does all that come from?
So no promotional product company does them in-house. There might be a select few items that, like, we can do a couple of promotional items like magnets and some pens and things like that that we can do in-house. But there's over 500,000 different products out there on the market for the promo industry, that there's no way for any promo company to have all the type of different machines hold all the inventory for the different products and things like that to be able to do them. So what all the different promotional product companies like us, distributors as we call ourselves, we go to the many different wholesalers out there throughout the U.S. and they hold the inventory and do the printing of the item and then ship them to us or straight to the customer. So that's how that works in the promotional industry. Now we are doing a similar thing on the wholesale side with the Patriot line for printers and promo companies, but just for paper materials. So printing flyers, brochures, booklets, all that kind of stuff. And as well as, signage and things like that. So there's wholesalers like what I'm doing, but on the promo side, that does all that stuff for all the different promotional companies.
So even like your large companies are doing the same thing. They have the customer facing store, but then they go through someone that's all they do is just the promotional items and
specific, and each of them have specific items that they sell. Yeah, they're niched out and they're experts on doing, and they do it over and over again, type of thing.
Another important reason people not to call me on Monday and say I need it by Wednesday, because it's going to take time.
So that's the biggest thing. Anything promotional products, like usually it's a 2 weeks, that we have turn around, because and I have no control over that, whereas like somebody comes to me they want their flyers, a sign, whatever the case may be, I need this tomorrow. Well, we're going to do what we can to make you happy. If we can make it happen, there may be a rush fee to make it happen. But we'll do what we can. But when on the promotional side, there's not much I can do. I can't tell these companies to put my stuff in front. Like they have their own schedules they have to follow. Like I can't tell them how to do things. I have no control over it. So that's always the hard part, is a lot of people will come to us and like, oh, our event is exactly 2 weeks from today. Ooh, okay. Well, then we need this like today.
Yeah.
Like
I need it today. You need to approve everything today so that we can order it today.
Yeah, and that gets very stressful because even it's not guaranteed. Yeah. Because okay, so it says it's going to show up on that date based on right now, but then UPS, like things happen. Maybe
all the time.
Yeah, it's not tons, but but it happens. And obviously with how many orders we do, we see it happen, but percentage wise, it's not a lot, but like it still happens. Especially during like, winter time, because, if this is, say our supplier for the promotional item you wanted is maybe in the Midwest or something like that. Well, winter happens, there's a storm. Now they're delayed a day or two. Yeah. And then, or here, say it's here in Florida, well, hurricane happens. We've had that happen many times, where, or a tornado happens to hit somewhere, whatever the case may be. I've had that happen where,
or the communication system goes out in the airport. I mean, there's so many things that can go wrong, but that's why it's just so important to
give enough time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So, all right. Well, anything else about the promo items we can go over?
We could go on for days for different things.
Nobody wants to listen to it for days.
But I think what we covered kind of gives a good give rundown of what we're trying to accomplish in for this topic for today, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to wrap this up. We appreciate everybody. Until next time, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification button. So when a new one drops every Wednesday, you will know about it. You can come listen. We are looking for guests. So if you're in the Ocala area and you want to be a part of the podcast, give us a shout. If you're looking for some promotional items, you're looking for some printing, let us know in the comments, send us a message, and we'll get you taken care of. Until then, let's grow together.
It's time to step up. No more running up, giving my all, no more giving up. Listen to me, step, it's time to step it up. Yeah, it's time to step it up. Step, it's time to step it up. Yeah, it's time to step it up. It's time to step up.